Hello and welcome everyone to a new Heroes of Might and Magic free tier list, where in this one I will be going over the latest and most refined tier list for JEBUS OUTCAST 1 hero gameplay. Not actually, quite a few things changed from the last time we reviewed it, both in terms of the version that we play, but actually much more so about the actual meta of how we do things. After playing this game mode for a while, we actually adapted what we do and why we do it, and because of that, the rankings of the factions actually ended up changing quite a bit. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into every single one of these factions, starting off with Fortress. And Fortress is actually one of my favorites. It's actually so amazing recently. They are one of the most turbo factions available in the game. You pick Alkin or Broghild. Some people go Broghild. I would say that Alkin is superior in almost every single way. He starts off with the armor and the offense, and by level 4 he can just annihilate everything. You get like a lizard box on him and a goring boss for him, and these units just do not die and they keep persevering fight to fight to fight. They do tops super early, they break super early, and they usually have like really good games even if they don't really build up their faction. Even if they don't invest in their economy, all you need is a few boxes. They are super solid as tier faction. And next up, speaking of S tier factions, Castle remains to be one of the best factions. Actually, scratch that. The best faction for one hero, JEBUS OUTCAST. And you see, a lot has developed in the meta, and we no longer go for Beatrice. Seeing far is not really that good, because if you see something really far off the road, you don't want to go there anyway that much. You want to be collecting everything next to the roads, and you just want to go and go and go. Just take fight after fight after fight, and who better to do that than Sorsha or Catherine? They're the same hero, it's just a reskin. And yeah, Sorsha does wonders, immediately having offense, having the swordsman specialty, is gonna allow you to take fights immediately. And the best part about Castle is the fact that it has the stables. Stables makes this faction top tier. Being able to move that much more in a one hero format is honestly cannot be underestimated. The bosses are also like really high quality. Pretty much everything apart from Griffins is already a power stack, even if you get just one box of it. That's so amazing. Very high damage unit, good utility units, and yeah, it is the best faction for this format. Next up is we have Conflicts. Now, for Conflicts, we no longer have Manir, so they actually fell a little bit in ranking. Right now, people go for either Sealy or Fjord. I would say that Fjord is actually more popular around with people, because he starts off with advanced offense, which is amazing for taking fights. He also rolls logistics really often. Honestly, a solid hero. But I like Sealy more. Sealy is actually like so much fun to play. You get that immediate expert bless. And the conf units actually benefit so much from bless. It cannot be underestimated. And of course, she is a very good user of the bunker, where you get all the spells as well, because, you know, she gets a lot of knowledge, gets a lot of power, so she's very good with that. But, you know, it's not one of the best factions, it's an okay faction. I would place it B tier. Next up is we have Stronghold. Stronghold is a little bit weird. Their thematics got absolutely botched in this format, okay? Stronghold is supposed to be the faction that just goes smorg, goes ham, goes turbo, okay? Just like Fortress. Fortress actually kept their thematics super intact. But the same cannot be said about Stronghold. Stronghold is kind of yikes. I mean, they're really good, but they're good for ancient wide biz, and they're all about cashing in on those. They go late game. They go slow, they build up their economy, they build up the best stack, and that's not really the Stronghold way in my opinion. But despite this, they're actually really good. Some people would actually pick Stronghold over Fortress, but I would say those people are mad. I don't think Stronghold is actually that much worse than Fortress, but I would place it A tier, while leaving Fortress at S tier. Next up is we have Necropolis. Necropolis is probably the most underrated faction in JEBUS OUTCAST. Nobody ever wants to play it. But I don't know why. Tamaka, using Dread Knights, can do so much work. And even Aislinn can be a choice as well. He can do like quite a bit of work as well. And these heroes are can carry the faction, and getting like a single Hall of Darkness externally, then getting it on your main as well, will give you a good Dread Knight power stack, and Dread Knights are absolutely huge. They're such good units. Because of that, despite this faction being looked down upon by many players, I would not put it at the bottom. I would put it at C tier. Next up is we have Cove. Now, Cove, with Miriam, used to be regarded as one of the best ways to play JEBUS OUTCAST, but that's no longer the case. People do not pick Miriam. Actually, we did not pick Miriam because she's not available, but honestly, we wouldn't pick her anyway. Right now, it's all about either Euvasius or actually people started Jeremy. Personally, I like Elor. I really like Cove because they have many good choices on what we actually pick. And yeah, I didn't actually try Jeremy that much, but I really like Elor and I really like Euvasius. This faction performs really well, putting them at A tier. Nixes are really easy to build and actually very rewarding to build, but the late game is not as strong as Strongholds, I would say. So they are a solidator faction, something that you actually want to get, but it's not like the absolute top, I would say. Now we have Rampart. Rampart is usually considered the worst of the factions. The reason being is that their dwellings are really expensive to build in terms of resources, and when you don't have side heroes collecting those resources, building the dwellings is really hard. And even if you were to build them, they're not that rewarding. Unicorns are kinda meh. Dragons are definitely way too hard to build, pretty much for almost every single scenario. It's not really that good. So yeah, that's why they're actually pretty low. I wouldn't put them at the bottom, because their boxes can be like really huge. If you get an elf box or even a dendrid box, you're gonna be able to take many good fights and potentially snowball with Genova. Genova kind of carries the faction, and it's not bad. It's pretty good. I like it. I probably overrate Rampart a little bit. It's probably D tier, but I like Rampart, so there they go. Now, the hero of the recent meta is Inferno. We realized that, hey, demon farming is actually viable and good for JEBUS OUTCAST. Because many weeks pass and you have many towns in JEBUS OUTCAST. That means you get a bunch of meat. You can sack that meat into demons. Get a huge demon power stack. You're good to go. And we didn't see this as a possibility for like such a long time. But now we do. And it's actually really strong. I would put it high B tier. Some people would actually go as far as to say that it would be A tier. I'm not like that sold on it. But it went from like the bottom to B. So yeah, quite a bit of an increase. Maybe I'm still undervaluing it. It is possible. Next up is we have Tower. Now Tower is just painful. It's not good. Because you end up having like really subpar heroes. You could go Solmir, but he has sorcery. And on the guy with already wisdom, having like sorcery is like pretty much a dead skill. You can't afford to have many dead skills, and wizards don't develop nicely anyway. So it's already like you have like a bad thing for like a bad template of a hero. It doesn't feel so good. So most people will actually go Rissa and try to smoke their way forward with the offense. But then you have Mysticism, that's also like kind of a dead skill. It's not very good. Like playing this faction is not very nice. Most people avoid it like the plague. I am one of those people that avoided like the plague. And last is actually we have Dungeon. Dungeon is kind of interesting. Like Cove, they have many viable heroes. Damacon, Dace, Deemer are all really viable choices for playing this faction. And they do a pretty good job. And they're pretty solid too. Their boxes are pretty impactful. They give you lots of HP pool, and most of them actually make into a power stack pretty easily. Because of this, I would say that they are solid B tier alongside Conflux and Inferno. I would put them in the I would put it in the middle. So yeah, the meta is actually really rapidly developing for JEBUS OUTCAST as more and more people play it. Many actually good players are trying it, and yeah, it's honestly like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how the meta actually develops further. I'll keep you updated, and yeah, thanks for watching. If you would like this kind of content, then subscribe on YouTube and also catch me live on Twitch. I stream pretty much every single day. See you! Testing! I don't know what was that, sorry.